of the game. I've seen the Discord, a lot of great people seem to be sharing the love for biking and for your game, which is very cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really love our Discord community. It's awesome people doing crazy speedruns, but also sharing all their mountain bike experiences and everything. So it's really, really nice.
That's great. I love it. So, I mean, some people compare the stillness, is it like zen-like in the actual race. And I'm wondering, it's still a race actually, and you can still crash violently, which is lovely also. But I mean, that balance, how did you strike it? And what made you, it must have been really hard to find that stillness and intensity. Would you mind telling me some of that?
I don't know. It feels like we. Oops. There's a phone or something. I don't know. When I go outside on my bike, it's still. I really enjoy this peaceful, quiet nature part a lot. So it feels like this is bound to the core experience of cycling outside.
Yeah.
And when I ride my bike to work or something, then I listen to music sometimes, but that's only just focusing. I don't know. That's a city. It's not completely different experience. If you go outside and just enjoy the nature, that's something. I know, such a very strong feeling. It's, you know what I mean? Bit hard to explain.
No, I think I get it. So it's comparable to the real deal, I guess, the Zen qualities.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Sorry,
that's why we try to
roommate
keep
was
that
trying to
somehow.
So you have this real deal and you have this real intensity from biking as well. You wanted to capture that. Am I understanding you right?
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of. No, but it's like, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but it's like if you're biking for real, there's always going to be a bit of danger. You don't want to crash. Um, but I understand that that's something that's real. You want to convey that. And then this Zen quality, which is sort of unique for your game. I was just curious, like, is it like a mixture, like you're mixing a drink, like, 50% just Zen, or like 40% crashing, and then like 10% really, really wild jumps, or like, I was just wondering how that mixture happened.
I think it depends a little bit on what you want to do. Just like in real life, you can just go out there and start exploring and really take it slow. And sometimes you're up for it and just start push it to the maximum and try to find the shortest route. Try to go for some awesome jumps, whatever you feel like you want to do right now.
Yeah, I mean that I think you struck the mix. It's a mystery to me how you can find it, because it's very rare, but it's good. I like it a lot, at least. So I understand that we're experiencing some troubles with Daniel's video, but I guess we'll work with it.
No,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Welcome back, Daniel.
Unfortunately, I can't see the actual gameplay.
Yeah, me too.
Check out the stream.
Yes,
and watch
But
yourself.
I'm sure Robin is
I'm doing a
great job.
really crappy job, I should say. I remember that I was pretty good at this game, but apparently not.
It can be tricky.
Yeah,
it can be really tricky.
something I've been wondering about is the different kinds of mountains that are in the game. There are 4 different kinds of mountains, and they are very different from each other in a lot of ways. How did that development like work? Did you just experiment and find what kind of mountains you wanted, or did you have like specific inspirations for them on beforehand, or yeah?
Probably question for Daniel.
I think it's places I've never been to, but I want to visit. So it's kind of like these I mean, they're not modeled after real places, but they are inspired by. I mean, the canyon is obviously inspired by the Grand Canyon, which I would love to see. Then we have the Canadian Rockies, which the one place I've actually been to, which made just such a strong impression that I mean, it's just a beautiful place, so it made sense to put that into the game. And then we have this Autumn Mountain, which is inspired by this like Indian summer feeling, which I would really like to see, like in the New England states, something like that. And the Alps is just like it's a place close to home. I mean, I think all these places have like it's the kind of like romantic feeling to it. They are these huge spaces, and also another thing is it's actually really hard nowadays to find this lonely nature, like a place where no one else actually is. So when I went to the Rocky Mountains as an example, like in Banff, you always see these pictures of these wide, big, empty spaces, and then you go there, and you have this one postcard view of this place, but behind you have like 10 really big hotels. And I think actually like capturing this, how it should be, this way how it should feel was important for the game. So in a little bit, it's a better than life situation.
That's very cool. I mean, I want to go to these mountains. Could you please give me these better than life places? I hope they exist for real as well. It's very cool. I mean, I'm especially fond of the Autumn Trail, the second mountain. The way that you've captured the way the leaves are falling and the intensity of the red leaves, it's just wild. I mean, obviously that doesn't even exist. It's so ephemeral. It exists for a short time only during autumn, but you guys have captured it in your game for a long time. So that's I love it. I love it. I'm a fan.
Was there any mountains that were particularly hard to design? Or was... You can't answer all of them on this one. That's too easy.
I think, Jan, you muted your microphone.
Okay, sorry. Well, some of the mountains grew a little bit faster than we anticipated in the beginning. So we ran into some technical issues just to make it run smoothly. But in general, you design-wise, Daniel?
I think from the art perspective, one of the biggest challenges were the trees in the Autumn Mountain, because we don't use textures in the game. We model everything, so every single leaf on every tree is an actual 3D model of a leaf. And it turned out that if you want to model like the leaves on the tree, then your low poly game is not low poly anymore. So finding a sweet spot so that it still feels like a big tree, but doesn't have a million leaves on it, that was really hard. And also from the camera perspective, so we don't want to have a lot of big blocking shapes. So we want to have small shapes which only block the camera for a second, or preferably not at all. So yeah, I think there were quite some iterations for the trees until we felt that they look good, but also work for the game.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, that you modeled each leaf and stuff like that, I think that's going to be a real challenge to make the game really sing, to make the game really convincing. Robin asked you what the hardest was. So I was wondering, like, you talked about the Alps being the inspiration for, well, obviously the Alps, but also I was curious if you could tell me something about a specific favorite of mine, of the mountains. The Fourth Mountains. It seems like that's carrying a lot of personality into it. Like you do some really interesting stuff. I don't want to spoil too much, but would you mind telling the audience a bit of what the thinking was behind that?
Mm. I mean, there are a few design paradigm we developed over the course of the development. So even though we have only one mountain, we wanted each trail to feel very unique. So each trail should have its own personality, its own character, but also there should be a development on each individual trail. So each trail starts high up and then goes down, and you should have a feeling for like leaving the peak and making your way towards the valley.
Mm-hmm.
And this in combination with having all 4 trails on one mountain leads to a lot of different areas. And that's really nice because I think actually I think for most of people who play the game, if you show them one screenshot, they can more or less point where this is. So I think each trail, each section on each trail feels very unique. And yeah, on the last mountain we did some special things, which I don't want to spoil for people who still want to play the game, but I think there are some nice and new effects you haven't seen before.
Yeah, absolutely. And make a mental note of that. The last stage and the last mountain is something specific. I'm glad. I'm glad that you also chose not to spoil it, but I was just curious because, as you said, also in screenshots you get a certain sense of the game, and then you play the game, and the sense of calmness or speed is really something that you need images and sounds. I mean, you need moving images and sounds to really portray. And I think you do something really interesting with that in the last 3 stages, especially. And I mean, just the sounds of like a brook or sounds of leaves and birds. I think that's really evocative and really effective. Um, would you mind telling me a little bit about the sounds? Like it seems um, the game is actually quite still. Like there's no real music while playing, and the actual sort of environment effects instead carry the game. The sound of your bike, the sound of your screeching halt when you're driving. Would you mind telling me a little bit about your thoughts on that audio design?
Well, I really like these mountain bike sounds. So the sound of the tire on the ground, you can simply hear the different surfaces, like if it's gravel, if it's soil, if it's grass or whatever. And that's a really important part of riding a bike, I feel,
Mm-hmm.
from feeling wise. And audio, we had a hard time. We thought about, okay, what kind of music would fit the game, and we never really found something which we thought, okay, that's the right music, that's the right kind of music. And in the end, we talked to a few people, and most of them agreed, okay, not having music is somehow weird, but it's a good choice. It fits the game. It also puts an emphasis on this whole Zen-like, really enjoying the nature thing. If you try to enjoy the nature but listen to some punk rock music in the background, it might be a bit disturbing, or I don't know, but it might work out well for some people.
Yeah.
But it just it also lets you. It kind of forces a pace to the game, which we don't want to force. It's up to you, and the lack of music kind of allows you to do that.
Nice, very nice. And Daniel, do you have some input on this as well? Did we lose Daniel?
I'm not sure.
He's gone again, maybe.
I think his video is frozen again.
Ah, okay. Well, thanks for that answer, Jan. That really made sense. Once you play the game, you really feel the importance of sound. And sometimes, I mean, for me, that means not having a ton of sound just blasting out, but it's like the lack of music, as you say, or or I mean, how every sound really punches through the image, like it really that one jump that you can't do really well, and then you hear the sound of your failure, and then once you complete the jump, it's like just gliding through, no real sound of crash or anything. That's also really powerful for me, I think.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's cool.
I mean, Syndrome did an amazing job. The two guys who did the audio, they spent a lot of time on the sound, like going out recording different environments and everything. They spend a lot of, especially on the sound of the bike itself.
Yeah, you can really tell the bike is it's so close to you. For me, it was like an eye-opening or ear-opening experience, I should say, actually playing the game with headphones because you're so sucked into it. You can really hear the sound of your bike together. I mean, just so close to you. And then the nature experience, for me at least, became a lot more intense as well because then you really long to hear those bird sounds. It's like it's really good ASMR. I feel it's really good.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah,
mean, you
sometimes,
get a sense. Sorry.
sometimes when I develop the game, and the game still runs in the editor in the background, and you get all the audio, the environment audio, the birds and everything. Just keep it running, just with headphones on. It's totally fine. Doesn't disturb me while coding. That's
Yeah, that
that's
is
really
nice.
nice.
And it's only recently that I realized you have I think it's like the wind chimes like on the very first mountains when you start up on the in the hill. I never realized that until recently. Like if you stand still on top of the mountains.
hmm
Yeah, but it's very cool. It's very cool that you can. I mean, you're the developer of the game, but you can enjoy your game sort of as a calming experience. I think that's very cool. Very cool. And best hats off to your sound guys. That must have been an amazing job. Do you know if they did any Foley work, like when you're in the studio and you're actually stomping on leaves or like stuff like that, or if it was done in the field?
They also did some Foley stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know exactly how they did everything, but yeah. For example, I think, hope I can share that. The sound it makes when you cross that bridge is actually a tennis ball cut in half and hit against a wooden bed
Really?
or something like that. Yeah, I really love Foley. It's just awesome how what creative way they find to make sounds, which
Yeah.
are completely different from the original source, but still sound like it or feel like it.
We got a
Yeah.
message from Daniel that his Skype
That's
is. There's a lot of problem with his Skype, so he's
Yeah.
letting you, John, answer all of Dev's questions by yourself. So I think you will manage it.
Right.
Yeah, you're doing a great job so far. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, but I mean, the game is really working in sound design and like evocative, really sending a player to the mountains, I feel, which is very cool. So I'm also curious to know like the different bikes in the game. Would you mind telling us a little bit about that? I mean, um, Grasshopper, for instance. Would you mind telling me about that?
Uh, Grasshopper actually was the first bike we had in there. So in the beginning, we just had this one bike, and that was later named Grasshopper. All the names actually come from the community. We had a community event where people could suggest names, and people voted on them. So all the names were picked by the community.
Very cool.
Grasshopper is the well, it's rather balanced. It's not that fast. So in the beginning, you want to go a bit slower. It doesn't have the best suspension, but it has a suspension, so you can do some jumps, but yeah, not the big ones. So it's good just to start out Grasshopper.
Hmm.
And after a while, you collect bike parts, and you need a certain amount of bike parts to unlock new bikes. So in the initial release version, we had it a little bit different. So maybe some of the people remember. We had you had to collect bike parts for specific bikes. So it took quite a while until you unlocked the next bike. And now you collect generic bike parts. And once you got, I don't know, something. I think the first bike is around 5 bike pods. You can basically buy a new bike, and then we get, for example, Facebreaker, which is one of the bikes which is, yeah, I think most of the speedrunners are using.
Yeah.
It's really fast. It has not really a suspension, no, but it's very agile. So you can take really sharp corners, really flexible, and you can accelerate pretty fast. Then basically we got two major categories of bikes. One is more focused on the real off-road tracks, off-road sections, and one's more on the main path. So like with a smaller tires. And Pacebreaker, Grasshopper, and Javelin are 3 bikes which focus on being fast.
Yeah.
And then we got the 3 off-road bikes, like the real fat tire mountain bikes. That's Trailblazer, Boar, and Geronimo. Geronimo is probably some people call it God mode because it has such a powerful suspension that you can survive quite high drops.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, because of its fat tires and suspension and everything, it gets really slow. So you can't accelerate fast. Top speed is not that high. The interesting thing is, if you look at the leaderboards, Pacebreaker definitely is one of the best bikes to go fast, but I think it's also a real challenge because you have to be careful in some parts.
Yeah.
Javelin is definitely the fastest one, but still, yeah, it's really hard because it's more like a gravel bike, not really a mountain bike. So you have to use your brakes a lot and be really, really careful.
Yeah. Because I love this mixture of bikes, and the fact that you have to unlock them it adds to the charm. Like every new bike really makes a difference, I feel.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, especially for beginners. I think that like if you haven't played the game before, in the very beginning the mountains are beautiful and you want to get to the end in a fast sense, but you also want to try really wild jumps. At least I did, and I was really banging my head against the wall, thinking like, why am I not succeeding with my jumps? They're amazing, and like, yeah, they're too amazing in the start. You don't have the right bikes, but it was such a relief once you have the right bike that can really have the suspension. It's made such a difference. I felt it's like, and it's a different game opening up entirely. At least that was my experience.
And also the bike choice also is important for if you really want to go for the best time, then you should pick a fast bike. If you just want to go exploring, then it's good to pick a bike which is rather stable and doesn't crash that easily. So it's also depends on what you want to play.
Yeah.
I see the stream with a bit of delay, but I'm not sure if
Yeah,
Robin is still in the menu. Maybe you can just show a few of the
I'm messing
bikes.
around with the customizations right now as well, and like showing that there's a lot of ways to make the rider kind of personal, your personal rider. I can show the bikes as well. I haven't unlocked them on the Switch yet, but you can see the preview of them at least. Different kinds.
Very cool. Do you have a favorite bike, Jan? I mean, you've obviously played the game more than anybody, even Daniel.
Oh, I really like Trailblazer, but still it's not really fast. So if I want to go for the best time, I also tend to take the Pacebreaker. Initially, I really played a lot with the Grasshopper. Simply, it was the first bike, and when we designed the first mountain, I think we only had Grasshopper at that point. I don't remember. Yeah, but it kind of it depends. Javelin is tricky. Javelin is really it's a challenge.
Yeah, Javelin is so hard, but I love that it exists if you want to try it out for sure. If you want to try to be
Talking
the
about
best.
the God mode that is Geronimo, Have you seen players do stuff you didn't believe could be possible doing in the game with Geronimo or any of the other bikes, like some insane jump or breaking the
Well-
walls or boundaries of the game?
Yeah, some kept exploring until they reached the stuff they weren't supposed to see, but well, that's still fine. Yeah, in general, people are doing crazy stuff. That's it's amazing to see what people can actually do with the game and how they can push the bikes to their limits. Also, sometimes it really requires a lot of iterations to continue trying again. But sometimes they also play with such a precision that's really amazing to see. So if you're into that, you can always have a look at the Discord. We got a speedrunning channel there, and people are posting videos, so it's always worth checking out.
Very cool. Yeah, the Discord is really active. I've noticed that brings out an entirely new facet to the game. I feel because everybody will play the game a bit differently. I find, and obviously many people have already played the game, but I think on Switch, being able to actually bring the game with you into nature, I think really is going to work really well. I mean, obviously you can be among the real birds and sun and everything, and playing this game that captures a bit of that. Like, I think it'll be doubly good. So I think that's lovely to see. And I was also wondering, like when you play the game as a sort of fresh mind, like you're the developer, but obviously sometimes you gotta sort of play test the game. How does this track feel? Like, leave the developer computer for a while, go make some pasta, get back and play the game. I mean, how do you have any advice to new players? Or like, what should they think about? I mean, the bikes are obviously varied and cool. The tracks are obviously loaded with a lot of hard jumps. Is there anything like specific, a certain way of playing the game that you would advise people to? Because it's not like any racing game, like it has so many possibilities to ride your bike.
I mean, it depends on the kind of player. I mean, something which everybody should try out is the steering modes in the beginning. So if you start out the game, we got 2 different control modes, and they are really, it's like 50-50. Some people need that mode, some people need the other mode. So try both, see whatever works best for you. There's no right or wrong, none of both are really better. So they both are, you can be equally fast. But still, I think it just depends on what you played before, what kind of game. But initially, we in our first playtest, we had people complaining that the controls feel really weird. Like the brain works differently. It just doesn't work for them. And so we asked them, okay, what do they need? And in the end, now we get 2 control modes. That's left and right steering, and the other one is screen-based. So basically, steering by pressing the stick into the direction of the screen you want to go. And the bike will align to that direction. And then, for me, that's the only way I can play. But other people need the left and right controls. Most of our speedrunners play left and right. I don't know if that's something... Yeah, I guess it just depends. Maybe it's a bit more precise, but in general, both methods are equally valid.
Yeah. And when you've noticed people playing your game, have you noticed sort of different subsets of players? Like you'll have the Zen player who only plays to sort of chill, like doesn't really want to care about the times. I mean, obviously that's got to be rare. I mean, I'm almost like that. But have you noticed that there are people who want to explore? Like the people who really, the first thing they do, they're looking for the secrets in every stage. And maybe there's a third subset of people who are like, yes, I'm going to be the best. I'm not here to make friends. I'm going to be number one. Like,
yeah, exactly. We get all kinds of players. I mean, most of the people in our Discord are mainly focused on the times, I guess. If you're looking for competition, you also want to talk about which shortcut you took, stuff like that. But we got a feedback from a lot of people who just play the game for the pure experience, not for the competition, and they also really enjoy it. So it's a wide range of players playing the game and having fun with it.
That's cool. Have you been surprised by any of your fans or the people playing your games? Like they played it in a way that you wouldn't have expected.
That reminds me of one guy who played it blindfolded. During our Kickstarter, we had a 1 minute demo. So basically, the time was limited to 1 minute, and after 1 minute, the game reset. So and they played it over and over and over again. So they were really good at this 1 minute demo, and then they were looking for a new challenge. So they put a blindfold on and played it just by the sound. And it was surprisingly good. I mean, I think they never made it to the end, but yeah.
That's incredible.
It is.
I mean, I've heard of people playing Punch-Out blindfolded, but that's because the game uses audio cues, really subtle audio cues, to make you sort of know when to punch and when to pause. And obviously there are sound cues in your game as well, like the whoosh when you're actually jumping over a cliff.
Yeah. Each surface has a different sound. So you can, if you transition from the main path off to grass, you can hear it actually, but it's really challenging.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. I think they also did it in the full version of the game for one month.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Have you had a lot of people sort of going the nature angle, like looking for the most animals they can find, sort of wildlife photography kind of thing?
People were asking for a photo mode actually. That's something we often thought about, but we didn't have the time to implement it yet. But could be fun. Just for the people not into biking, maybe get off your bike and push it. Just walk around.
I would love that. I would pay for that. That would be amazing.
Talking about stuff you've been thinking about implementing, have you ever thought about implementing like cheat codes, like big head mode, or I'm thinking like old GoldenEye for Nintendo 64, stupid cheat codes?
Well, the funny thing is, we don't really have a God mode or anything like that in there, not even for us. So while testing, we got some stuff to test to make testing a bit easier, but no real cheats in there. But new stuff. Maybe we can talk a bit about the daily challenges, which is an upcoming feature. So far, we only talked about it in the Discord, so it is kind of public, but we haven't really announced it yet. And that's something I'm pretty excited about, because we got one problem with the level design, because the whole game is based on leaderboards, and this makes us a bit unflexible when it comes to changing trails. Because if we just add a new shortcut or something like that, or block a shortcut or some kind of unintentional shortcut, whatever, we affect the leaderboards and the times which would be possible on the leaderboards. And now we will add daily challenges. Daily challenges are basically each day you get a new trail, one of our existing trails, but they get new obstacles. And we add in there new random obstacles, but they are the same for all the players. And you get 24 hours to get a good time on that. And in addition to the normal time you have, each crash also counts towards the whole time. So not in total, but for each crash you basically get a penalty. So it's important to get down there fast, but also being really careful not to crash too often. And we got additional leaderboards for that, so you can earn some daily challenge score, and for that score you can also get new outfits, new rewards. Okay. We just launched a like a beta, small, closed, no, public beta basically, but we haven't announced it yet. So if you want to join, just come to our Discord and yeah, there are all the instructions how to join. Currently only available for Steam, but once we are happy with it, everything's working out, you can also bring it to consoles.
Nice. Seems like a good way
Nice.
to bring more variation for the people who have maybe played several hundred hours of the game already. So that's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it forces you to explore the mountain differently, because sometimes when you play the game over and over again, you get your favorite trails, you get your favorite shortcuts, and you kind of tend to stick to them at some point. And the daily challenges kind of force you to, okay, now this road is blocked. You can't get that. You can take that shortcut. You have to find a new way, and then you start exploring again. Well, some people don't really explore in the first place. They just follow the main path. Now they are forced to just look around a little bit and see what they might have missed. And this also, actually, I'm not really involved in the level design part. So the daily challenges opened up new shortcuts for me too. So that's pretty amazing.
Very cool. So, I mean, this has been, I have a question then. Like, you've produced a version of the game together with Retroid Studio there in Gothenburg for PlayStation 4, Xbox, and now finally Switch. And obviously the PC version is ever evolving. And it also seems like this Switch version is like sort of a road point, like we're finally here. Would you mind telling us a bit about like how does that feel? Does it feel like you have so much more ahead for the game, or do you feel like this has been a place that you really wanted to reach? Like the game is quite flowing quite well with resolution and this refresh rate. Would you mind just telling us like how does it feel? 4 o'clock on the 7th of May. No pressure.
It feels pretty amazing. We were waiting. Initially, we thought about releasing all the game on all platforms at the same time.
Yeah.
But I mean, Switch was a bit of extra work because I mean, it is less power than the other consoles, so we tried to make the experience playing there as good as possible. So high refresh rate, high FPS is really important, and I think Retroid did a really great job on that.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy to finally see it on that platform. So many people asked for it. Like I think Daniel mentioned it before, that someone in our community wrote a Discord bot to answer the question when Switch will be released.
Yeah.
We got those questions so many times. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to all the feedback, seeing people play it. So far, the reviews are really awesome. I'm super happy about that. Lots of positive, nice feedback.
It's perfect.
That's great. And for you, how does it? I mean, what's on the horizon, so to speak? I don't want to ask you too much, but I'm like, let's say half a year from now, where would you be standing then? What's your sort of image? Like, let's say that the world is in a good place and your bike game is in an even better place.
I guess Lonely Mountains will keep us busy for a while. We've still got lots of plans for it. Yeah, more content. Still some features on the nice to have list we would love to add. Yeah, we'll see, but really looking forward to it. I mean, it's really great to have the community around us and get all this feedback. It's been a really crazy ride with this game, but it doesn't feel like we've come to an end yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
How are you gonna celebrate today? Sorry.
I'm not sure, Robin. Yes, you have cause for celebration.
Yeah, well, we're still a little bit in social distancing mode here, so we'll probably celebrate similar to the celebration we had for the German Computer Game Award recently. So digitally, but I guess we'll meet up on the weekend or something. Yeah, but I really look forward to see what the community is telling us, getting all the feedback, all the stuff in there.
Yeah, I have a very personal question, Jan. Are you the best Lonely Mountains player in the world?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, I think in the beginning, for a short amount of time, maybe I was okay.
Yeah.
No, but there are people who are way better. If you look at the leaderboards, everybody from the development team has a hard time beating those times or even getting close.
Really?
Yeah. There are people who have spent so much time on perfecting those trails, and like that's really impressive.
I'm glad. I'm glad. I would have imagined that you put some secret tricks into the game that nobody else knew about,
Yeah,
and you can just use
I
them.
was
But
I was tempted.
of course. Oh, very cool. Very cool. I mean, what would you say is your gear setup for the optimum? If you want to be a speed demon, like what stage, what bike, what color of the bike do you feel most comfortable running with?
What color bike?
Super important question.
Yeah, it's very important. It's
Yeah.
aerodynamic.
I guess the red one is really fast. Like the red
Yeah.
colors, it
Mm.
kind of gives you this little extra boost.
Like,
No, I don't know how to answer the question actually.
no, that's fine. That's really, I mean, I'll just go ahead and say that for me, it's like I've replayed the game so many times, and so I long for unlocking the second stage of the autumn trail, getting the second bike, and being able to do jumps without crashing. It's just like, it's like coming home. It's a good feeling.
Okay.
Don't know about the black is obviously the best color, but yeah, just the autumn trail has some good stuff, and being able to run through it as fast as you can without crashing is that's for me. I was just wondering if you had like a certain place where you can just relax in the game.
Did you ask me, Dev? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you as well, probably.
I really like, without spoiling anything for the new players, but I really like the final mountain and some of the trails there. They are not Zen-like, some of them, but they're very challenging. And even if I was super bad in this stream, once upon a time I was good at this game, and then I loved those trails. So yeah, I really love that there is something for everyone in this game. There are super chill trails and mountain, and there are super frenetic and chaotic trails as well. So big kudos to you guys.
Yeah, hard agree. Good job.
one of my
mountain mobbing.
one of my favorite mountains is still Sierra Rivera. So the third mountain. It's completely different from the others. I really love the feeling, like this canyon. The audio is also different. I really enjoy that. I love it from the visual perspective. Yeah,
Kicking
behind.
it now.
That's it.
Show it up some.
Okay.
Nice. So Daniel is saying sound is breaking up. I don't know if the whole stream is sound or if anybody in particular.
I'm not sure either. There's been some technical difficulties, and I apologize for those. But yeah, maybe the best thing for everyone is just go buy Lonely Mountains Downhill on Switch and play that instead. It works much better than my stream trying to get this to work.
Absolutely.
It is a good idea to buy the game and play it. I agree. But if you want to continue, we will do it for a bit more. I don't know how to test the sound. I'm also listening to the stream, and I can actually hear is, do you have a link to the Discord? Maybe I should just share it in the Facebook.
Yeah, I think we can share that in the chat. I mean, we're streaming to multiple. Yeah, it's just.
But yeah, also the sound seems to be breaking up. So maybe this should be like the end. We've been streaming for almost an hour or a little bit more. So thank you for the link. We'll put that in the Discord. And Robin, how do you feel? You're the games master.
Yeah.
Stream.
Yeah, I think so. I have to train more and then return at a later date, actually being good at this game, I think. But
I think you're doing quite well, Robin.
Thank you very much, Jan, and thank you, Daniel, if you're still watching, for participating in this Switch live stream for Lonely Mountains Downhill. And thank you, Deb, for coming to help me when I'm trying to not crash and burn constantly.
It was my pleasure. Good job running the show, Robin, as well as running the bike at the same time. It's like ambidextrous or just ambibrain. It's very good.
Yeah, I apologize once again for all the technical problems, but as I said, go buy the game instead. It's out in Europe right now, if you're watching this, and it's coming in... Dev, can you correct me on this? It's out in 2 hours in the US, right?
That's correct. That's 1800 hours Central European summertime. So that's 9 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time today, 7th of May. And somebody in Japan, they got it first.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for watching, all the people at home. And stay safe. Wash your hands.
Stay safe.
Bye.